Buttigieg calling it quits as Joe Biden heads into Super Tuesday after a blowout win in South Carolina.
I think it's a big boost. I think it starts a real comeback. But we have a long, long way to go. This is a marathon. I feel good about where we are. I think things are picking up, but we'll see.
All right, so with this shift in momentum, are the Democrats looking at a two-man race potentially between Biden and Bernie? Joining us to debate that, Democratic strategist Wendy Osefo and New York City Councilman Joe Borelli. Guys, thanks for coming on this morning.
Good morning.
Wendy, we'll start with you. How do you think Joe looks going into Super Tuesday?
I think Joe looks strong. I think that, the propelling of him moving forth in South Carolina is really good for his campaign. And the rumors around the Democratic Party is Buttigieg and his campaign, they are trying to coalesce against around Biden. So that is going to be another push for him. That's going to be something else to propel him forward. And I think it's really interesting that we have Buttigieg dropping out, but we still have Warren, we still have Klobuchar. Still in this race.
Way back. Yeah, it is interesting. Joe, Biden has some issues going into Super Tuesday. He doesn't seem too confident about Super Tuesday. He's had no rallies in any of these states in more than a month. He put everything into South Carolina as he was running out of money. Sanders, look at how many offices he has in California. Bernie is big in California, outspending on TV ads. What do you think happens here tomorrow?
It's like Joe Biden didn't himself expect to be in still at Super Tuesday. I think Biden, deserves some credit. He delivered an old-fashioned shellacking in South Carolina this Saturday. But his biggest problem right now is Mike Bloomberg. Bernie Sanders has a significant lead in the two big states on Tuesday, California and Texas. I think Bloomberg and Biden are canceling each other out to some degree. And I think it would be quite ironic if Mayor Bloomberg is the one whose own ego is what makes Bernie Sanders the eventual nominee.
Okay, let's listen. Let's talk about Pete for a second here. Mayor Pete dropping out. Here is Bernie Sanders on the subject.
I just want to welcome all of his supporters into our movement and to urge them to joining us in the fight for real change in this country.
Wendy, does Bernie Sanders have a chance of getting some of those supporters? Mayor Pete seemed to think that he was going to give his blessing to Joe Biden.
Yeah, it would be slim pickings, if I can be very honest with you. Mayor Pete has center-left ideologies. So if anything, his supporters will directly go to Biden. And that's really important here. And people just don't wake up the next day if they're really in love with a candidate and then move to another candidate. It's going to take time. And over time, I don't see his supporters going to the Sanders campaign. Rather, I see them going to the Biden campaign. And, the big thing for Biden right now is not only picking up the supporters from Mayor Pete, but also starting to chip away at that Bloomberg support and that Bloomberg wave that we see growing, because if anyone is his biggest competition, it will be Michael Bloomberg.
Yeah. Joe, you agree with that? You think Biden gets Pete's support? Because it is a lot of support. And also, what about the early vote?
Well,
a lot of people have already voted. Back when Joe Biden, everybody thought he was out, they voted for probably somebody else.
Well, right. I mean, certainly the primary scenarios of having multiple different elections is a good case to make against early voting. But I think the Buttigieg supporters, a lot of them have already moved on. You saw his polling tank in recent days. You saw him do very poorly in South Carolina. I think most of those people have settled with a camp already. I mean, the question is, does something like an Obama endorsement or something of that nature actually bring some people to Biden's rescue and to his aid? I think whether it's Buttigieg or Obama or anyone in between, I think Biden does need that at this point.
Okay. All right. We'll see what happens tomorrow, guys. Thank you so much. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right.